Okay, we are over here on the east side of the house, next to this lagoon. Next to the lagoon, that's where we are. And this is the electrical um, video for us. And we see here that this is our meter. Our electric meter has been sealed on 3 sides. That's a good thing to protect water from coming in. The bottom side is supposed to be open so that it can drain. We don't want water going into our wall system, because if you remember from a previous video, I talked about brick being porous. Alright, this is our main service disconnect. There's the dead front cover for it. Alright, it tells us that we've got 200 amps. And it's been sealed on 3 sides as well. But we got some gaps over here. Alright, that's what sealant does. So about once a year you need to go around your home, and look for and have these things sealed. But now when they put these 2 boxes together, alright, well Doug and Philip are going, Philip, I can't get any sealant between these 2 boxes over here. And Philip just said, well, let it go, Doug. We're going to the beer store. And I said, oh, Doug, you're all right. He said, I know. Hang out with me, you'll learn something. But what we learned is that Philip and Doug did not seal these sides of the boxes. If it's good enough to seal here, if it's good enough to seal here and there, it needs to be sealed in these places as well. This is a 200 amp. Okay, this is your protector, and this is today on L1 and L2. This non-conductive cover is only required on L1 and L2. It'd be nice if they put it together like that. There you go. I got to finish the job for them. Yay! You're a good guy, bud. Sure I am. Okay, so we move in here. This is the east side of the house. It's the east exterior wall. That would make this, by default, the east interior wall. And this is our main load center. Okay, some people call it the breaker box. Okay, service panel, call it what you will. But this is your load center. And what do we got over here? We got some interesting things. We got some interesting things for sure. We follow our, oh dear. Well, let's just start at the beginning. Well, from the beginning of this. This is a square D Q0C40UF. This box has been recalled. Dangerous. Little things like sparks and fires. So this has been recalled for that. Now, Square D has determined that this box can be made safe. But it's not safe until it has been made so. And you get a certified licensed electrician. Certified meaning that they've gone through the Square D training program, and they know what to do to get in here to make this safe. Alright? And then they have notices that they post on the interior and the exterior, so that when I come up, or somebody like me, another home inspector, when you're trying to sell the house, they'll see this notice and they'll know that this has been made safe. This box has not been made safe as per the National Builders Association. I'm guessing that this builder belongs to the National Builders Association. So maybe he agrees with them. I don't know. Maybe he's a honey badger, lone wolf. That could be true too. Is the builder a honey badger lone wolf, or is he in line with the National Home Builders Association? That's a question of the day. This cabinet has been recalled. It could be replaced, or it could be made safe. Neither one of those things has happened. So, now we come over here. You see this? This is printing. Alright? See where it says danger? Or it says UL listed or Square D? That's printing. Excuse me. This is handwriting. UL listed, Square D, danger. That's printing. Square D and the International Residential Code both feel like this cabinet should have been, they use the words like shall. Okay, I don't have that kind of authority. I can say should. All right, but according to them, this shall be printed like this in a strong and durable way. And God, by the way, the guy's got pretty good handwriting. Or, you know what? This might have been a woman electrician, judging on that you can read it. Okay, so it's just a thought. But I get carried away, I get carried away. So let's keep going here. So it's not properly labeled. It's a square D that has not been made safe. Now, when these cables come in here, this is L1 and L2. If you remember the other box, it had the non-conductive covers on L1 and L2. Today, that's not required. Today, that's not required. So, just know that that's hot, but one day it will be required, but not today. Now, here's another thing. We're going to have a little discussion. See the aluminum, stranded aluminum? That's not aluminum wiring to your house. This is acceptable. When it's bolted in like this, it's totally acceptable. And when it's bolted in like this, when I say totally acceptable, it's totally acceptable as it is. Unless you're the Texas Real Estate Commission. So for whatever reason it be, I have to say that antioxidant paste was not put on the aluminum connections inside of the panel. And you can take that information, I'm going to write it as a deficiency on my report. You can take that information and do with it as you choose. All right, so let's come on up here. What else can I find, bud? Oh, you can find something. I know I can find something. I'm a finder. Okay. This is your closed dryer, according to this, if it's labeled properly, this is your closed dryer circuit breaker. All right, since this circuit breaker is farther than 15 feet, I'm guessing, from the water heater tanks, even though it's within sight, and even though I think it's stupid, it should have one of these lockout deals like you have for your range in your oven. So it should have a lockout on it. And again, it doesn't matter what I think, I'm just telling you what I've heard. Oh no, what I know I've heard. Okay, now it's 30 amps, but this breaker right here, whether or not you have this, no matter how I feel about this, this is supposed to be GFCI protected. These are supposed to be GFCI protected, and the only way you can do that with 220 is at the breaker. So you should have a GFCI protected breaker right there, and that's what you should have. Now, bonding. On our bonding, we got a grounding rod on the other side. I don't think I mentioned much about that. And then we have a UFER in this wall. When you have an all, this house has a PEX system, so we don't have any copper to grab. So the UFER serves also as the bond. And we have our UFER rod right in there. And, no extra credit for spelling. Okay, they put an extra F in there. It's UFER. It's a UFER. Now, I was able to find that because I got UFER written on it. This is a technicality, but the bonding location is supposed to be posted inside of this cabinet or inside of the main cabinet. It'd be reasonable to assume that any electrician that came in here would be able to figure that out, okay? That's what it would be, but it's kind of like this white tape. Any electrician knows what he was doing would know that this is the main neutral, but we make them wrap it with white tape so that any fool, idiot, take your, use your descriptive, but anybody can figure it out. That's a safety device. So UFER's not listed in here. I'm going to put that in there as well. What else, bud? What else? Okay, well, you see these curbs out here? They make thousands of cabinets a day. All over the country, day in and day out, year after year after year, they use that much plastic in the manufacturing process. They could save tons of money. They must be here for a reason. Why would they do that? Well, these are guidelines, all right? Electric cables inside the cabinet. The manufacturer is letting us know that electric cables should not extend any farther than this curb. Okay, so this little curly cube right here, it extends out farther than the curb. Look at these over here. They're touching the cabinet cover. They're touching the cabinet cover right there. Are they farther than this? They sure are. The manufacturer cared enough to put that there. But well, look at that. Okay, well, that's interesting. Well, now here's another thing. See this dead front? This dead front fits on the edge of the cabinet. All right, And then it seals it up because we want to keep our electricity inside there. What if it melts down or you have a fire? We want to keep it inside there. The whole purpose of this is to fit on top of this cabinet. And now look how this cabinet's recessed in here. Okay, that's more than 1/8 of an inch. Now you put the cabinet cover on, you can leave this pinned inside of here. You got this much of a gap between your cabinet and the cover. So if it does melt down and you do have a fire because the wires are too close to the edge, then it can crawl out of here. It can crawl out of here. Can you believe that? It's amazing. Bud, give us a break. This is new construction. These are guys putting this in there. Well, you see that little car over there? The 16-year-old kid working at Hawk Electronics put a stereo in the dash of my car, and it looks like it came from the factory. And I gotta believe that a 16-year-old kid, okay, has got more on his mind about what he's gonna do on Friday night with his buds, or maybe he's got a girlfriend. I know he's got a lot more on his mind than a 27-year-old sheetrocker or a 30-year-old licensed electrician. You're telling me that a 16-year-old kid can do better than that? I don't know. You have to draw your own conclusions. So what did we learn? We learned that our boxes aren't sealed properly on the other side of the wall. We learned that our UFR isn't labeled properly. We learned that this was hand labeled. We learned that this cabinet has been recalled. According to the National Builders Association, they think it should be fixed. Okay? We learned that our water heaters don't have a lockout. We learned that our water heaters are not GFCI protected. We learned that our wires are too close to the cabinet cover. We learned that we've got too big of a gap right here between the cabinet and the top. That's what we learned today. We might learn something else before it's over.